Hello everybody. Today I'll be kinda sharing my experience with PvEing as a Succession tamer. There was times long ago when I used to PvE a lot on Awakening before Succession came out. But once Succession came out, I swapped to it, and in the beginning it wasn't as good as it is right now, but with a lot of buffs that came in, Succession became really way better than Awakening. Personally, I prefer grinding in Succession. I did some tests, and also those tests proven me correctly that Succession is just better than Awakening in terms of PvE. Of course, there's some grinding spots where Awakening is good and whatever not. I don't grind in Awakening anymore. I gave up on that simply because the amount of effort you have to put, the amount of skills, the amount of time, everything, it's just too much. And Succession gives you just way better results overall. I'm gonna quickly go over some skill add-ons, which I use purely for PvE, and after that I'll go in through the combos, and then I'll show you how I usually grind Bloody Monastery. This applies to every other grinding spot in the game. I've done the same in History, I've done the same in Biraghi, like everywhere it's kind of the same. First of all, Bolt and Jolt Wave is a chain skill with shift left mouse click. I like to add some DP debuff just in case that I'm not debuffing them up with the other skills. I put some accuracy on it, critical hit rate, so that I always can keep it up by 20%. My shift Q gives extra damage to monsters, critical hit rate plus 30% for 7 seconds. Usually this is one of your initiating skills or a quick skill that you put immediately after your second initiator, which the Addons spinner. Flash, this is your main debuff skill. This chains into a different skill that does magic DP debuff on an enemies by 15, which is really strong. Also, I give myself evasion and accuracy. You can change this. This is what I personally like. It just gives you a bit of more tankiness and accuracy again. You have accuracy buff here, so this is unnecessary, but I like it, so I keep it that way. Lightning of Earth is one of your other debuffs. I mean, it chains. You have all DP debuff on this. This is why I'm saying it's a debuff. It's a really strong skill. And not just that, it really is a strong skill. The prime version of this skill is also a debuff. You literally remove the enemy DP by 20. So if you hit this skill, you remove their DP by 35, which is a lot. Combining this with your flash, which I'll also show right now, it's absolute flash ball, magic DP minus 15. You remove enemies DP by a total of 50. In terms of PvP and in terms of PvE, it's a really great thing. Another thing I add on this is monster damage. You can add anything else you want to add. I personally like the monster damage because this is one of my other initiating skills. It's weird that you have 3 initiators. Tamer is a flexible class and you can initiate with a lot. You can start your combos with a lot, and this is how I personally like to play it. This is my personal play style. If you guys like it, you can try it out. You can tell me if you like it. But yeah, regardless, this is the skill add-ons. All-round spinner has a critical hit and critical hit damage for 5 seconds. You can find another skill and add another crit hit damage plus 3% if you want. You can maybe even add it on Jolt Wave instead of like critical hit. It's just that I don't see the necessary, like I don't feel like it's necessary for me to have that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Battle Arena, quickly show like a few usual PvE combos that like I use, to be precise. The skill build, I'll see if I can add a skill build down in the description down below. skill build that's with 1750 skill points, because I feel like that's the very least you need to start PvEing. I have obviously everything maxed, but there are some skills that you totally don't need, but still you kind of want them in the end. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, when you get to mobs, most people shift Q, which gives you your buffs, critical hit and AP against monsters. You can initiate like that, but the thing is, for me personally, I don't always have the chance to initiate my combos like that. So sometimes I would just, when I get to mobs, I do all-round spinner, follow up with lightning of earth, because it chains. That already gives the mobs debuffs, and it gives you your main cool buffs that do more damage. So once you've done those two skills, so you get up to a mob, you debuff them, you do flash, which is back left mouse click, and then bolt and jolt. After bolt and jolt, I usually do shift Q, get behind the mobs, do another bolt jolt, then I do my Rabams, which is jolt wave, jolt stab into breath spike. These chain, so if you press jolt stab, which is shift Z, I don't use shift Z, I use the hotkeys, it's really bad, try to not get my thing, but it chains if you hold left mouse click into breath spike. It does a lot of damage, it's really strong, and after that usually resonance to finish up the mobs. The full combo usually should kill all the mobs within one combo. I tried an awakening, it takes way too long, way too much, and this is just way more simple. You just do this whole combo. I fucked up. Shift Q and you get behind the mobs. Again, this. To put it simple, like you'll see on the screen the skills. I'll put it in the video. But this is the main kind of combo. You can also play around with it. Like if all-around spinner is on cooldown, you can do your Moonlight Strike, because it also chains immediately into your Lightning of Earth. And then you can also follow up with Flash, because those have lower cooldowns. All-round spinner has a total of 13 seconds cooldown. Maybe sometimes you won't have it back, and maybe you're too fast. You clear the pack within 5 seconds, and you go to the next pack. It's on 7 seconds cooldown or whatever else, and you don't have it. Yeah, forward C into Lightning Earth is really good as well as an initiator. Another initiator, if you really don't feel like, or if you don't have things to open up with and your flash is open, you can start with flash, follow it with jolt stab, that does immediately damage, then follow up with forward C and lightning of earth, do a few jolt bolts. You can follow up with resonance if it's up. Like, you can play around basically. Your skill set is not bound to exact same combo all the time, hence why I love Tamer, hence why I really like it. It really depends which skill is off cooldown. You can chain it between combos. I haven't talked about one specific skill. It's really not necessary yet for most people, but if you have the skill points, Prime Surging Tide does a lot of PvE damage as well, especially if you put it within your combo. Like, let's say you chain some damage on an enemy and they're on the ground, you can just use it, or you can use it in between your combo, which is also a really cool thing because it chains again, like between your jolts and bolts, which is shift left mouse click. I can immediately chain this and immediately continue with another jolt bolt. Those are all the skills that you can chain in between each other. You can play around with them, and they're really good. There's another skill which most people kind of like in Awakening don't really use. Air Lightning. Air Lightning I use a lot while you're dashing, which is your WW. Basic Tamer stuff, by the way. You can just grab the mobs. Like you can aggro them and immediately cancel out of it. The canceling method is really easy. I'll just show it here. The canceling method is really easy, and highly recommend you guys to learn this. It's your WW, so basically this and shift space. It just basically looks like this, but you don't use WW. You have that hotkey on something, and you gotta make sure that you cancel out of it. It's an easy grab for mobs. What you can do is you can chain it. If your cooldown is not off, you can chain the second pack, bring them together, and the mobs will all follow you. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Now another thing here is we've gone through Flash, which is your main debuff. We've gone through Jolt and Bolt. This is a lot of damage. This is one of your main damage, something you will end up somewhat spamming, but you don't really want to spam it. You want to chain it in between skills. You want to do Jolt Bolt into something, into Jolt Bolt, into something, into Jolt Bolt. An example of this is going to be like this. It's going to look like this. Jolt Bolt into Shift Q, Jolt Bolt into Shift F, Jolt Bolt into Rabam, Jolt Bolt into Resonance, Jolt Bolt into something else, and so on and so on. That's how your main damage keeps up at the best pace if you keep doing that. I don't always do that. It's not kind of my playstyle. I chain them in between some stuff that I like, but I don't spam them because they drain your stamina like crazy, and I'm already having some stamina issues during PvE. I don't want to add it more of that. Scratch. There is a flow, spray scratch, and scratch. This thing, again, is a really nice thing to pull mobs because you just keep moving and you can immediately cancel out of it with shift space again. So those abilities basically I use to get more mobs. One more skill that I want to talk about, Whiplash. Whiplash, I barely use it, but when I use it, I'm like just in boring mode. I'm like, I just need some extra filler damage. I'll add some Whiplash. You just hold your right mouse click. There's nothing special about it. Especially if mobs are on the ground, you do more extra down attack damage. It's really strong. It's really good. But it's only good at higher AP. So if you're lower AP, you can try it out, but it's not going to be really, really great. One more skill, it's Trample. I personally use this skill a lot. Like, this is one of my somewhat favorite skills in terms of PvE. I add this skill sometimes in between everywhere because you just have to space after certain abilities and it just does it. Like, after all-around spinner, you can do it. After this, you can do it. You can do it even after your Jolt Bolt. You can do it after every single skill in your kit. Every single skill, as long as you press space after the skill, it immediately chains. It's a good filler damage, and I just like because it's fast and it's also a chain skill into Lightning of Earth. So if I would want to do the last hit of Lightning Earth, there you go, I have it. And for me personally, I love it because that's an immediate debuff on the monsters. There goes the DP, there goes their accuracy, so it makes you safer during your grind, as well as it gives you some extra damage from it because the scaling on the skill is really good. I love it. As for the rest of the skills, we've talked about them. You still have Roaring. Roaring is frontal block, and Hailing keeps mobs stiffed. It works on most mobs in the game, except like the big ones that you can CC. You can use this for a frontal block as long as you cancel the last part, because if you don't cancel the last part and you don't WW out of it, you can get stuck of it. You don't have to. You can do the whole animation, but if you let it roll like I did in the end there, you're stuck for a bit. I just don't like this whole thing. Say like she does her hand animation, I don't like it. You can use it. I personally don't use it often. I use it on very specific packs where I can put Hailing in a bag that he can stiff the mobs that just come close to him, so they're all grouped up in a perfect position. That's about it for the skills and like my personal combos. Again, you can play around with most of the combos. It's really, really flexible. There's so much you can do. My personal playstyle, I will show you like a few packs in Abandoned Monastery right now. Again, it's my personal, it's basically Tamer my way, so to say. I'm not gonna change anything in my playstyle. Some people are gonna be like, yeah, but I don't play Tamer like this. Good for you. I'm really happy for you. This is how I play Tamer, and I'm not planning to change this anytime soon. This has kind of been like going on for me for a while, and this is how I like to play Tamer. This is also at the moment my most favorite PvE class. I've played some Striker, Succession. I really don't like it, to be honest, because it's so simple and it's too repetitive. You don't really have the option to do so many different combos to be flexible with your skill set, whilst Tamer does have that, and hence why I love this class, because if something's on cooldown, you can pull up something else, and you can keep doing that. And the thing is, you'll never run out of combos. You'll always permanently have enough combos to keep going for. I'm gonna show my combos on Bloody Monastery, and I'll do like a few on Biraghi Den. Again, this is something I want to explain in this video, definitely. This is my playstyle. I'm not gonna change much. I'll roll some other skill add-ons, but I personally don't feel like it's needed for me. I enjoy how it is this way. If you have some other tips for other Tamers who might play Tamer and are maybe like not that veteran on it, or really good on Tamer yet, or they're learning Succession, you can put it in the description down below. But for this video, this is kind of my way. I usually pull mobs. There's the all-around spinner, there's the debuffs, there's my... I'll put the skills on the screen. It's really hard when you're grinding yourself, but I'll try to do this combo a few times, show it. But the mobs are generally dead with my AP right now, and this is the gear. For people with less AP, it will feel a bit less. All-round spinner, lightning of earth, flash. I can do Rabam immediately after. I can do my other Rabam immediately after. Some jolt bolts, and mobs are dead. It's simple as that. Now, this is probably for other people who don't have like as high gear score as me. Let's say you're at 278 AP. Again, still, it's gonna feel almost the same. You're gonna have the same combo. All-round spinner, lightning of earth, flash. You can get behind mobs, bolt jolt, another bolt jolt in between the Rabam, and like you keep playing around with it. This is 278 AP, by the way. I'm not using the Hailline buffs, nothing. This is plain just me with just an elixir and the alchemy stone. I have the church buff running from yesterday, but I run these church buffs permanently when I'm grinding LVS spots, and I have another 5 AP buff from my horse at the moment. All-round spinner, lightning of earth, flash. You can immediately chain the Rabam after, bolt jolt, trample, Rabam, bolt jolt. Like you keep rotating some same skills over and over again. Some people will be like, yo, but this is slower than some classes. Not really. I can tell you that much, because I just cleared this pack like within a time frame of 6 seconds with this AP. And there's some classes that take like 10 to 11 seconds per pack. It really depends on their gear and how they perform on the class, whatever not. There's more extra stuff that you have to take in addition to that, but regardless, I honestly think Tamer is one of the great classes right now in PvE. Succession Tamer, to be precise, not Awakening Tamer. In my opinion, it's really strong right now. It honestly feels like it needs more buffs for some people. I think we're in a good place. As Succession, at least, Awakening needs a hell of a buffs. Like, it's so weak that the difference between a 0 weapons Elvia Monastery is Awakening gets around 9k trash loot without a single weapon. whilst maybe 10k, whilst the Tamer Succession gets around 11.5, 12k. For Biraghi Den, I kind of want to do it as low as possible AP. I don't know if I can actually manage to get as low as possible. Like, we want to be at 260 something. I don't know. I'll screw it. We'll just have to do it with the same 278. I don't know, but that like a bit too high. I'll just do this 259 AP. Same thing here. You kind of pull the mobs. You pull pack 1 and pack 2. This is something a Tamer has to do. You debuff the mobs again with your Lightning of Earth. You get behind them. Jolt Bolt. Rabam, Jolt Bolt, Rabam. You can shift Q, Rabam. Shift Q into Bolt Jolt. Like, you rotate your Jolt Bolt all the time. And that's like really, really fast. It's really strong as well. I don't want to grieve this guy, so we're gonna just go over like to a different camp right here. Again, grab the mobs, all around spinner, Lightning of Earth, get behind them, flash, Jolt Bolt, shift Q, Jolt Bolt. I got knocked, that's too bad. Shift Jolt Bolt into Rabam, Jolt. Like, you basically, it's like a song. Every time in between the skill, you jolt, you bolt, and again, and again, and again. Like, it has to get like, you just have to build up some kind of automatization between that. All round spinner for the frontal block, debuff the mobs, get behind them, flash, Jolt Bolt, shift Q, Rabam, Jolt Bolt, another Rabam, Jolt Bolt, let it roll out, and maybe some right mouse clicks to finish up the last mobs. Right mouse clicks does a lot of damage. This is, by the way, just right mouse clicks. Also, I have human damage crystals. You guys gotta keep that in mind. This is the grinding speed with 261 AP with full RBF crystals. But regardless, that's basically the basics of Tamer Succession and grinding. You really don't have to put too much effort into understanding it. It's really poop simple. You just gotta invest like 2, 3, maybe 4 hours dedicatedly grinding and learning these rotations of your combos, and then you get used to it and just get it automatic. Like, it's really that simple. As for the crystals that I'm running, this is what I run: 2 Elcars, 2 Corrupted Magics. The rest is entirely red battlefield, and then an Holocaust crystal because human damage. Again, just because this is human damage, I dealt more damage to the mobs in spot A and spot B, which is Bloody Monastery and Biraghi Den. Kinda the spots that I grind right now all involves humans. I don't know why, it just feels really nice to grind in those spots. But I can also go to imps. It's gonna be a bit less damage. Oops. But I'm alone, look at how fast it clears out. And there you go, it's done. 1 right mouse click. Just a few rotations of skills and it's over, it's done. It's, in my opinion, it's really, really easy, it's really strong. And people who are right now playing Awakening and hurting their pinkies because it's a shift heavy class, try out Succession. Just do yourself a favor, try it out. Give it like 10 hours. Give it 10 hours a go, see how it goes. I can guarantee you, if you put on effort, get the right skill add-ons, you can use my skill add-ons, put a bit of effort learning the whole thing, learning the chains of the skills that go into each other, you will pull significantly more trash loot as a Tamer. For PvP, you roll Awakening, it's 10 times better, it's best of the best. But Succession is also not bad for 1v1s, and it's amazing for PvE. The amount of trash loot you can pull is incredible. Highly recommend you guys definitely getting to Succession. And people who are playing Succession Tamer, and if this guide helps you, it's kind of weird to say, but like, Give it a like, share it with your other tamer friends who potentially might need this little guide, the Hibber's ways of PvEing. If it helps them, I'm happy. I hope this helps a lot of tamer players. If there's more questions or anything, you can ask them in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, boys.